The journey always begins somewhere. It can start from weakness, from aspiration, and even conquest. It can lead to amazing places with opportunities that define you. And that journey can bring you full circle, rekindle past dreams, and surround you with amazing people with incredible stories of inspiration. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Inspirational 30. I'm your host, Jim Gardiner. This is the show where I get to sit down with some amazing people from all walks of life, and we're all just here trying to be better versions of ourselves. So thank you for watching. So today's guest is a woman that I happened to meet. She has an incredible story, a story that's kind of evolved via new information continually and just kind of keeps changing, and she's just rolling with the punches, and she's living life, and I love it. A woman who was at a crossroads, decided to have a fitness journey, which then morphed into a diagnosis, which then morphed into motherhood, and then back to fitness, and how the three kind of coexist. So join us on this little journey. It's my privilege to welcome Jasmin Badrin to the show.
Thank you, Jim, for having me.
Welcome.
Yes.
So you are an island resident.
Yes.
You are.
I am.
You live, where do you live in
Courtney.
Courtney, so up north in Courtney, okay. Yeah. Good. So I mentioned earlier in our segue, crossroads. I think everybody comes to a certain crossroads in their lives, you know, maybe more than one, right? You had you came to a decision fairly recently. So tell us about it. What prompted that?
Realizing I had to do something different with my life to actually be healthy and to live a long life. So it was just making the decision to commit to that, to stop making excuses, and no matter what happens, to just stop, adapt, and move forward.
Stop, adapt. I know, right?
Yeah, it's all you can do.
I know. And so your now husband,
yes,
really was one of the catalysts for that. So maybe share with our viewers the promise or the commitment you made when you got engaged, right?
Yes, so we are high school sweethearts. We met in grade 12, and we've been together over 16 years. We decided, he proposed to me just a few years ago when we decided that, you know what, a wedding to us is a lifetime achievement. It's something we want to do, we establish ourselves, but where do we go from here? So he actually proposed to me, and I thought, what do you give the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with? And I figure I need to spend a long, healthy life with this person. And I know living the way I was, I couldn't do that. So I had to start making changes both with my diet, with my fitness, with my lifestyle in general to be able to make that a reality for us. Because he's a lot more fit than me. And so I had to jump on board and be there with like that with him.
Sure. Yeah. I love that. I wish more people would have that realization that I think the greatest gift you can give somebody is longevity, you know, and it seems, to me, it seems that the people that realize that are usually the older people, or once people get and they have grandkids, or, you know, as opposed to doing it when their life is way ahead of them, right, without the pressure of time to make that decision. Hey, I still want to have a longevity, balance in my life. So good on you. So you said to your husband, okay, I'm going to get fit. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to give you kids. We're going to live this amazing life, right?
I didn't know how to go about that, okay. But that was the plan.
That's the plan. So you made the decision, right?
Yeah.
It all starts with the choice.
Yes.
We know that, right?
Yes.
Life is all about choices. I say it
Definitely.
all the time. So you made a choice. So what happens? You're driving down the road. And what happens with your...
So I was going to work, and then I was actually going to turn right, but you look both ways. And I looked left, and there was nothing there. It was black. It was gone. Everything was gone. And I could feel like the shaking when I looked. Like my eyeballs were shaking. And so then I looked right away to the right, because it was okay if I looked that way. And I just stayed there. I stayed in my car. I kind of panicked. And then I looked again, and sure enough, it wouldn't go away. It was getting worse. Luckily, I live right there. Like, I live a couple of streets away from where I work. So I got to work no problem because there's a lot of right turns. And that was when I realized there's something seriously going wrong. Because when you lose your vision, you don't think about that. You take it for granted. Everybody takes for granted their vision, especially. So for me, I'm like someone who likes to be in control of my body and my life. Sure. And when you lose that control to there's nothing I could do. If I look up and to the left, it's gone. It was black. It was just black.
Just black. So it was like looking into black.
Yeah. It was as if everything disappeared when I looked to the left. But not to the right. So I stayed this way.
So you're driving like this?
I just do this thing. And so I called every doctor there was imaginable. I started everywhere. I started with the walk-in clinic. I made an appointment with my eye doctor, my regular doctor, everybody I could think of, because what do? You're not prepared when all of a sudden you are losing your balance and you lose your vision and these things are just happening. It's like, what do you do?
And so what did you do next? So you went through a series of physician appointments or specialists or whatever?
Specialist after specialist after specialist. And what it boiled down to, it's not this, or this, so it must be MS. So that's when I was pre-marked for multiple sclerosis, because they could only actually track one episode so far, and that was my vision loss.
Okay, so take the viewers at home through MS. What is MS?
MS is an autoimmune disorder, a disease that affects your nervous system, affects your vision, your spinal cord, how you lift your arm. If you look at the symptoms of MS, it's headaches, blurry vision, loss of balance. You could feel hungover and they could say you have MS. It's amazing how it's a very hard thing to diagnose. It's a hard thing to treat, and there's just not enough information as to how you go about your life with it. So it was just basically the doctor said to me, now go home and forget all this ever happened.
So the doctor tells you you're pre-marked for MS and then says,
forget about it.
Forget about it because there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing. Because they couldn't treat me. They had no way of really knowing how severe it was, what else is going to happen. They said, just go home, forget about it, and we'll wait till the next one. Yes.
The next episode.
The next episode, what that could look or entail, it was going to come out whichever way it did. And I would, if I have any numbness, weird, or if I lost any sensations, vision, hearing, anything, I call the doctor, they put me in for MRIs and see what my brain's doing.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like, people normally wait months for an MRI. I don't.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a plus side to everything, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Silver lining?
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, here you are diagnosed with something that, at face value, I mean, you hear that, it's scary. I mean, what?
You hear the word disease, you hear nervous system, you hear...
So take us through that defining moment. So the doctor says, Jasmin, we think you have MS.
Yeah, you don't hear them. My parents were with me, they kind of explained it to me. You don't listen, you're looking at them, you see their mouth move, but you just don't listen to them. It's amazing. It's an outer body experience. It truly is. Because you're like, this can't be happening to me. And how would I deal with it? And okay, you should just sit there and pretend it's not happening. And that's what I did,
Which is what they want you to do anyway.
They did want me
Right?
to do that. So I started early. Because how do you react to that?
Well,
You don't know if you're going to die. You don't know if you can live with it. You don't know anything. They don't explain any of that to you. They tell you technical things. This is what we see. This is what it looks like. Now go home.
Now, so that's WTF moment number one.
Yeah.
Now, they also told you something else,
Yes.
right?
So going back to my regular doctor appointments, this is now out of specialist appointments. They've been testing me for everything imaginable under the sun, trying to figure out what exactly is going on. And it came a point that my doctor said, if you are planning on having children, it's either not going to happen, you'll never have a reproductive system that's going to work, and if you do, that child will have so many issues with it, and it wouldn't be very fair to bring a child into a world that you'd be causing issues for. If I could possibly have, if I could have a child.
So that's kind of a 1-2 punch.
Yeah. Because it also affects what my original plan was. I want to live long and healthy. Well, they've just knocked that off, I think. and I want to have kids for my husband. Well, here's number 2. So it's like, what do you do?
I bet you. So now I'm the doctor telling you these things.
Yeah.
Jasmin, you're never going to have a child, and if you do, this child's going to have A, B, and C, and D, E, F, G wrong with them. Yeah. I bet you heard those words pretty loud and clear, though, didn't you?
Because it wasn't affecting me, right? It was what I was going to do to somebody else. How could I be so selfish to want to have a child if it was going to have to live with these things? They were telling me I was going to die early of heart attack and heart disease and all these things, and it was like, okay, but the second they tell you you are not going to be unable to have a child, and if you do, you are giving it a life that's going to have prolonged all these inefficiencies and all these issues to deal with, that's not fair.
What was your state of mind after that?
State of mind after that is, I think as a woman, we're built to have children. That's why, it's not our purpose in life, but we are built to do that. So when you cannot do that, it makes you feel broken. My husband, I wanted to provide a long, healthy life where we could bring up children, and I no longer felt like I was unsure if I could do that. I had doctors, specialists, people with all this degree in education and all this testing and science behind them telling me that might not be an option for you. So it broke me as a woman because I felt like a failure. Yeah. And that's a hard thing to actually have to realize, go through, and then figure out what do you do there from then. Because women are built to have children.
So let me ask you then, when you looked at yourself in the mirror and said, okay, I feel like a failure, what was your next step? Because I know we're going to get back into, you got back up on your fitness horse and said, well, screw this, life goes on, but what was the catalyst for that for you, Jasmin, to kind of,
I think the catalyst was I was starting to feel bad for myself, having a pity party, and realizing that was bringing me down. That was bringing me into depression. That was bringing me into all these things that were hurting me. So I realized I could keep going with this, or I could stomp it in the face and just turn around and say, I don't care, and do what I'm going to do and make it happen.
Good.
And that's what I did.
And that's what you did.
Regardless of how you do it or if it's possible, I didn't care. I was going to do it. I'm going to get healthy, and I'm going to have a kid. That was my mentality every morning when I looked in the mirror.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a testament to the power of the human spirit, right?
Definitely. I mean, I think that's what got me through every day. With that belief.
Yeah. And when that belief consumes you, your every waking moment, it just puts into action an unstoppable force, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, and you won't be denied. And so, you're not denied.
No.
Right? So,
of all this sad stuff, I mean, I can laugh about it now, but it's been a long road, right?
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, I think we're not trying to sugarcoat anything, right? We're not trying to rainbow and unicorn this at all. This is hard love learned, right? I mean, I'm sure you and your husband had quite a many nights together just going, what do we do? This and that. But what was your next step? So to getting back into the fitness, I know you entered a contest, right?
Yes. So that ended up coming up, which is crazy because you go back to, well, then what do? Do you go back to the gym? I was at the gym. I didn't know what I was doing. I was hurting myself. I was on the treadmill for hours, and I think I was gaining weight. Nothing was working there. So then this thing popped up on Facebook, and it was like, yeah, we're going to enter this community. If you're a community member, submit a letter as to why you think you deserve a year-long fitness challenge with our gym. And I figured, why not? What have I got to lose? I honestly didn't think I'd be chosen. There's so many, I'm sure, worthy people who are, so deserving of such a position. How could I be chosen? But I figured it doesn't matter. I've got to try. There's no harm in trying. And so I did write a letter about what I was going through, and lo and behold, I was chosen.
You were chosen.
I was chosen.
And weren't you riding your bike to work
or something? I was riding my bicycle to work, and I got the phone call, and I was like, the whole rest of the way I just screamed, woohoo, the whole way. And because this was the beginning of the journey. This was me saying, okay, you know what? People are going to let me come into their gym. They're going to tell me what I have to do. So all I have to do really is show up and do it to the best that I can. So really, what more could I have asked for? I mean, it'd be nice if they could live with me and tell me how to eat and, be there when I want to do something really bad. But it's the easiest thing to go to a gym where it's an instruction class and you just go there and do it as hard as you can for those 60 minutes. Because you just show up there. And so that's how I knew it. For step one right now, my commitment started as go. Just go there.
Just show up.
Yeah. Walk through the doors and wait for the classes to start.
And so tell us a little bit about, so it was Bodynetics,
Yes.
place in Courtney.
Yes.
And so you joined some classes, you did trainings, and so tell us a little bit about your weight loss journey, if you will.
So it started off, and not even a minute into the workout warm-up, I couldn't breathe at all. I'm like keeled over, like, oh my God, this is it, I can't do it. Thinking, and then I finally get to the warm-up, and I'm like, oh my God, like we're gonna continue? Like this was just the warm-up. And it was unbelievable. It was like a shock to the reality. That initial thought of all I have to do is show up and do it, so easy, was like, I can't do this. Because when you're so out of shape, and you look around and you see people who can do it with ease, you're like, I don't know what to do. But the thing is, all you can do is just keep doing it. Because everybody progresses. People saw me struggling. Must have been really, really, really out there, because people started coming up to me I've never met before in my life saying, I started somewhere too. And they were sharing their stories of when they first came to the gym and how they struggled. And it's not going to come super easy at first, because if it were, you wouldn't be in this position. You wouldn't be writing a letter saying, please help me get in shape and change my life, if you were already there. But everybody has a starting point. Everyone. From the super highest, crazy athletic person to someone like me, who was being overweight and not moving. I didn't do anything. I don't understand what I did. Nothing. And yet to go in there and start doing jumping jacks and running around, I was just like, this is crazy.
So we actually got some pictures
Yes.
to show, a couple of them on your journey. So we'll go through this now, and maybe you can just add in a few little sprinkles of stuff. So there's the catalyst himself.
That's us at our grad, and then us at our wedding day.
14 years later.
Yep. This is June 2014 on the far left. The
Yep.
middle is another challenge, and then on the right is another challenge after that. So I think that's around September. So that's the progression of me just sticking with the commitment and sticking with, trying to eat as good as I can.
Yeah.
I didn't overnight start eating carrots and lettuce.
Oh, no.
I still today struggle with that.
Sure.
But this is the progression. If you put in the hard work and commitment, and when you fall off the wagon and eat like a whole bag of chips, you still, okay, whatever, I did it, start again the next day.
And I know some people, people hate the gym and this and that, but if you get with a good club or a good group of people, and that give and take, that support mechanism that you need, because you're not always going to walk through those doors on fire. There's
No.
days where it's
This
tough.
is the last place you want to be.
Right.
You'd be in the worst mood ever, but you leave in the best mood ever.
Because you also owe it to the people that are there, because you inspire them indirectly by being there. So you're feeding them, they pick you up. It's just a great...
It's a give and take relationship. Yeah. It's amazing. It's such a family.
Well, I mean, I love your can-do attitude, and you're taking life by the horns, and you're saying, okay, life, that's what you got, I'm going to live it. And so here you are. What was the total weight loss on that last shot, roughly?
Well,
do you know?
It's hard to say with weight loss because I strength trained so much, but I've lost probably a little over 60 pounds.
Okay.
Because I started at 250 plus pounds. I've gotten down to well below 200. But then it's hard because I lift heavy.
Yeah.
I would do a lot of strength training, and so that's hard to really gauge. I've lost like 38 inches. I'm basically half of before my situation now, I was like half my size that I was when I started.
And speaking of the situation she's in now, so here we are facilitating an amazing transformation, weight loss, healthy. And then what happens?
I got pregnant.
You got pregnant.
I did. They didn't think it would happen, but from changing your lifestyle and making it healthy, being active and choosing to eat real food, I think that's what fixed my issues. I haven't, I mean, things happen, but that's the core of it. You know, it's treating me the way I deserve to be treated, which is to eat real food and to move my body. If you don't use your body, it just stiffens up and it becomes useless. You lose it. So that's why all I did was go work out and eat as healthy as I could. And lo and behold.
So take us now, because I'm sure some of the audience is like, whoa, like what a journey so far. What was that moment like now when you found out you were pregnant?
It was unbelievable. I didn't believe it at first. I ripped open a whole bunch of different pregnancy tests, one after another. And then thinking, okay, now you have to go to the doctor because they could be wrong. And then we go to the doctor, and right away, it was just because I was told this is not something that's gonna work out for you. And if it does, it's not gonna be a good thing. I've been tested since I've been pregnant non-stop. They call it fit blood pressure. So like when you're running around, you're like out of breath, but then as soon as you stop, you can catch your breath back right away. That's fit blood pressure. That's my doctors have been telling me. And all my blood tests, everything that's coming back is coming pristine. I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life.
Amazing. And I mean, well, that's what you're doing it for. And at a crucial time when you have, a baby on the way. We are getting close to wrapping it up, but one thing that you mentioned to me when we met a while ago was doctors can't explain it, but pregnancy seems to remove symptoms of MS?
Yes. For people with severe symptoms, it will make it so they're less severe or non-existent. For me, it's almost as if it's non-existent, but then we don't see, I don't have these severe symptoms. They just know through testing and trials and all these studies that MS and pregnancy go well together. Now, since I've been pregnant, I've never had morning sickness. I don't have any issues, aches, pains, acid reflux. Honestly, without my stomach growing and knowing and being told that I'm pregnant, it actually hasn't been all that different. I still work out all the time.
And you did have one other MS episode, though, did you not?
Yes,
at
I
some
did.
point?
There was another one just a year ago where I lost my hearing in my left ear. It wasn't lost completely, it was muffled. But the doctor started out saying that was seasonal. And that was something that I've lived here for 10 years, and I've never had a thing like that happen before.
You don't really know.
So they sent me right away then after the fact for an MRI. That's where they were able to that's distinguished me as actually being diagnosed with MS, because there is Dawson's fingers in my brain and 40 more lesions. So I see the pictures. I don't understand their jargon, but I see this is what my brain looked like before, this is what it looks like now. But still, that is what it is. It doesn't seem to affect my day-to-day. My hearing's back, which came back while I was pregnant.
So, good signs all around, see?
Yeah.
So we are going to wrap it up. I do want to end with 5 questions that I'd like to put you on the spot with. But I do want to say that you are sitting here as a true pillar of inspiration and strength in life. I think it's amazing. Your energy. And like you said, this came from all that, behind the scenes when no one was watching, turmoil and pity parties, and I understand that, but that's growth. That's what makes you sitting here today who you are. So thank you for that. All right, so 5 questions with Jim. I always wanted to do that. Okay, we need a little sound cue. Note to production, sound cue. Okay. What has life taught you so far?
That you don't have control of your life. And so if you don't roll with the punches, it's going to be the most toughest life that you can do. So all you can do is adapt. Yeah.
And overcome. I think that's the Marine code, isn't it? Semper Fi,
Maybe
do or
that's
die?
next on the list.
I like it. What's the one word that describes you best?
Strong. Because no matter how much life tries to tear me down, I find ways to come back up.
What's the one thing you wish your parents would have told you?
That life isn't always so easy. I grew up and they made me believe life is so easy because they provided for me and they loved me and showed me how life is so great and everything. But there is that other side of life, that there's a reality that it's hard. But they gave me the tools to deal with that. And I think that's why I cope the way I do with what they've given me.
Most impactful decision in your life?
making a decision and committing to it. So the decision to commit has been the most impactful. Because everyone says, oh, I'm going to lose this, especially, Christmas time, New Year's resolution time, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. But saying it and committing to it are two different things. And it's that commitment.
So that commitment to your current journey.
Yeah, my commitment to myself.
Yes.
Because I deserve it. Everybody deserves to treat themselves first. Put themselves first, and everybody else
I say that all the time.
will benefit from that.
Yep, it's okay to be selfish.
Yeah.
I hear you. Last question. If you have grandkids or were to have grandkids at some point, how would you want them to look at you if they saw a picture of you years from now and think of you?
I would want them to realize that anything is possible in life if you put your mind to it. So to see, you know what, this is where she was in her life and this is what she's become. Look at what she's done in between. And if you put your mind to it, it will happen.
I really can't say anything to top that. I think that's a great way to end the show. Jasmin, you're a true legend. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. The company you keep on this show, I'm honored to be a part of it. Thank you.
Well, we're all learning from guests and we're learning from you at home. So just remember, life is tough, but life is yours to make of it what you will. So embrace it, embrace the challenges, because that's how you grow, right? And don't give up. And it's never too late to start anything. So go out, get it, own life, and live life. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon, and thanks for your support. Check us out on Can Ordinary Inspire on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, you name it. We'll see you soon. Stay tuned and stay inspired. Cheers.